Hello and welcome back. This will probably be quite a short video. Back out on the local roads around home again. It's going to be it's just going to be an ordinary walk, but it's not going to be very ordinary at the same time. The plan today is to do a 32-kilometre walk in total. Longest walk I've ever done in one day was slightly over 30 kilometres. 30.5 to be exact. It was about 10 years ago, and I did it as part of the Blue Stack Challenge, a fundraiser for Special Needs Foundation in the Blue Stack Mountains. That followed part of the Blue Stack Way and went from Glenties over as far as Harvey's Point on the shores of Loch Esk. That was an organised event that day, obviously. This isn't organised, this is just me. So over the last year or so I've been doing a lot of walking during lockdowns, and over the last year or so I've been doing a good bit more walking again. Last year I did a half marathon walk, which was a big challenge for me, and I recently repeated that a couple of weeks ago. So since then I've been hankering to beat my record, beat my personal best. So I've decided that as part of the March 310,000 Steps fundraiser for the Irish Community Air Ambulance, that I would try and finish off the month by doing that today. So today's the day. The weather here for the last couple of weeks has been absolutely amazing. It's been really warm and very mild with hardly any wind. It's changed a good bit today, and the weather forecast for the next few days is to change quite a lot. So I was a wee bit worried looking at the weather forecast the last 5 or 6 days that it was going to be quite wet today, but thankfully no. It has turned quite a bit cooler, and there was a very light drizzly shower just before I left the house, which is why I have the waterproof jacket and the hat on me. But what I'm hoping to do is maybe ditch those, get them back in the bag once they get warmed up. So listen, I'm not going to film a lot of this today. It's just going to be very much the same, and I want to just kind of keep my pace up. The target, I started just about 25 past 10. The target is to get finished sometime between 5 and 5:30, allowing for breaks and so on. My usual walking pace should allow for a fairly steady 5 kilometres per hour. So should be finished well within that time, all being well. But anyway, listen, I will film some of the more interesting things that I spot along the way, and hopefully you'll come along with me for the video and enjoy what you see. Talk to you soon. Don't think these old bits have many more long walks left in them. Getting very battered and worn looking. Must have them well over 15 years by now. One last hurrah today. Coming to Crossroads Village now, crossing over the river. I think it's the Deal you call it, can't remember now. It's only 3 kilometres from the house. Just over 10% of the walk done now. It's only a small little village, but quite a busy area here this morning. There's a big factory just up here on the left hand side. Used to be called Donegal Creameries, now called Nomadic, producing milk and yoghurt. One of the biggest yoghurt producers around, supplying lots of the major UK supermarkets. So a lot of activity here this morning. Such a small village today. Starting to warm up nicely now. Once you get out the far side of the village, I'll probably stop and shed a layer or two and carry on. There's one of the features of this bag I really like. Instead of having to open the whole top lid, you can unzip down the side. Gives you access to the main compartment. Allows you to take things out and put things in relatively quickly and easily without exposing your whole bag to the elements. Anyway, good to get that layer off. Absolutely roasting now. About a quarter of the way done now. Just past the 8 kilometre mark there. Well out of the crossroads village now, and just at the very lower starting points of the first, well, I think it's the only real climb of the walk altogether. Not sure what you call the hill properly, but basically the road climbs up onto the side of the Finn Valley and up onto a ridge. Now thankfully once you get up to the top of that ridge, you pretty much keep that elevation for the rest of the walk and don't drop back down off it again until the last few kilometres as I'm starting to return to the house. Despite sounding like I'm totally out of breath at the minute, actually feeling pretty good. Back's a wee bit tired, legs are a wee bit tired, feet are a wee bit tired, but nothing more than what I would expect at this stage really. Not really looking forward to this hill to be to be honest. It's a bit of a slog. It's very different walking up steep hills on tarred roads than it is when you're out on the hills, out in the mountains. Roads a wee bit busier than I expected as well. There's another car just way past it, and quite a few cars have passed me. And the last time I did this walk it was on a Sunday morning, so I didn't really take that into account. And another one. So it is a bit busier, it's not as enjoyable. Down at the last major junction I did consider making a route change and heading up the glen, up into the forest, and then cutting back over through the forest over to where at the top of this hill basically. But I wasn't sure what that would do to my mileage. I have a feeling it would have made it longer rather than shorter, but to be honest I just didn't fancy taking the risk. Nothing worse than doing this walk and arriving back at the house and find out I'm half a kilometre short. That would be a total sickener. So anyway, road's starting to steepen up a wee bit here now, so I'm going to say goodbye for now and catch you later on for an update. Finally made it to the top of that hill. Thought it was never going to stop. Considerably colder up here as well. I'd say the temperature when I was leaving the house was about 5 degrees, but according to my watch it's dropped way down to about 3 degrees now. And even just come up over the hill, you could see I was panting at the top of the hill with the worst of the effort. You could see my breath condensing in the air, so it has turned quite chilly. Skies turned a little bit gloomy, and feeling a few spots of rain, so hopefully it is just a few spots I can see just out straight in front of me, that the sky's a bit brighter. So it was kind of forecasting to be overcast all day up until about 2 or 3, maybe 4 o'clock, and then to brighten up again. So I look forward to that later on today, and hopefully the rain doesn't materialise. My watch just buzzed there to tell me I have 10 kilometres done, so just slightly under 1/3 of the way. Haven't been up this road for quite a while. I've never walked up here. Only ever been up here on the bike a few times on the road bike, because it's quite a tough climb. And the last time I was up here was in the snow just over a year ago on the mountain bike, and I'd say about another half a kilometre down the road I got a flat tyre, and 2 gas canisters with me to help reinflate it. One of them was empty, which was helpful, and even more helpful was that my little gas pump wouldn't work. That was great fun. So I ended up having to phone Dad to come and get me, and rather than stand around in the cold and the snow and the wet, pissed off at myself and at the bike, I started walking back down. It was about, I'd say I walked about nearly 2 kilometres by the time Dad got organised and came up and collected me in the car. Bit of an adventure. Anyway, all this talking means I'm not enjoying the rest of the walk here, and this is the first downhill bit I've had really since I've left the house, or since shortly after I left the house. So I'm gonna shut up and just enjoy it now. I think those windmills over in the distance are up above Enderley. The hills just on the border between Castlederg and County Tyrone and County Fermanagh. There's the look of an old well about it, but don't know if I'd fancy drinking water out of that. Possibly in years gone by it was a bit fresher and a bit better maintained. It's just alongside of the road really. The arrangement of the rocks in the field here, can't decide if they look modern or not. The ones there in the centre with the trees around them and down towards the start of the ditch kind of look a wee bit as if they're maybe of Neolithic origin. Almost look like old graves. Could be a case that just dug out of the local ditches and just piled up in the middle of the field, but the arrangement looks too random and at the same time looks a bit planned. I don't see the farmer just leaving them in the middle of the field like that. I'll check the OS maps when I go home and see if there's anything marked in this area, because there would be a bit of Neolithic activity and remnants around the local area here, so it could be something. Currently up on the sort of, it's kind of a lost area really. It's an area called Meanrea maybe, townland, just smack on the border between Donegal and Tyrone, and it really is quite desolate up here. I've always associated, I'm not sure what Meanrea stands for, but I've always associated the word mean in townland names to be associated with hills, at the top, usually the tops of hills. A lot of place names with that in it are in quite hilly, steep areas, so it makes sense that this area here is named after that as well. But I'll spin the camera around in a wee second and give you a 360, but it really is quite desolate up here. I can't imagine what it's like here up in the middle of a storm or in the depths of winter. There's nothing up here. It's literally bogland that's been reclaimed for sheep farming, mostly I'd say, with some stunted forestry growth. And then you can see out on the edges of the hills as you go up onto the sides of the valley. This area seems to sit in a bit of a dip. You can see quite a lot more forestry, but you can also see a good bit more farmland where the soil must be that bit better on the slopes of the hills, and the farms really survive up there. But I'll give you a spin around now and show you what it's like. There's appears to be a house just down the road from here. Can't imagine what it's like living up here in the winter. They definitely don't fall out with their neighbours anyway. Yeah, pretty lonely place to live, I'd say. But listen, they like it, that's their home, so good on them. Just about to cross the border between Donegal and Tyrone. This is also the border between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, and officially also a European border. I'd say there's probably more European border crossings that are a bit more difficult to get across than this. Nobody here to keep an eye on me apart from the local flock of sheep. I'm on the look now for somewhere sheltered to stop for lunch. I've just passed the halfway mark about 5 minutes ago. 16 kilometres done. 16 kilometres to do. Anyway, up Tyrone. I think this little burn marks the official actual border. The signs are probably set a wee bit forward of it, and there we have the customary change in tarmac as well, so pretty sure that's the border there, or that I'm standing right on now. finally managed to find somewhere to stop for lunch. There was a real noticeable change when I crossed the border that I wasn't expecting. Well, the road surface changed. I know that's always a given. The roads tend to have a better surface, particularly the minor roads in the north compared to the south. But pretty much immediately after crossing the border, there was a real change in the landscape as well. The farmlands become so much more managed. It really surprised me. I'm kind of taken aback by just quite how sudden the change was. A lot more houses as well. It's still very much a rural area, but many more houses, much bigger houses as well, right on the sides of the roads. Most of them are farms, which kind of goes with the more managed feel to the countryside. In fact, it took me quite a while just to find somewhere to stop and have my lunch. Anywhere it seemed, I was looking for somewhere really just a wee bit sheltered, a wee bit off the road kind of thing, but everywhere I was looking at was really close to a farm or close to a house. Where I am here at the minute it's essentially just a farm gate off the side of a public road, but it was the best I could get. But anyway, it's done the job. Just needed some room to set up my gas stove, heat up some water for a cup of tea and have a couple of sandwiches. So nothing fancy for lunch, but it's definitely a bit weird sitting at the side of a road and eating it. But let me see now, I have just over 18 kilometres done. You can probably tell the sun's starting to make an appearance, thankfully, because the last few kilometres have been very cold. The road kind of curved around and the wind's coming at me from the front and from the side, so I had to put back on the waterproof jacket again just to kill the wind chill a wee bit. And in fact I had my woolly hat back on me for a while as well, so thankfully I was able to take that off pretty quick. I have been lucky with the weather, to be honest. I can't really complain about it being a wee bit cold. In fact, it's probably easier being a wee bit cold than a wee bit too warm. So but anyway, it looks like the sun's making an appearance right as the weather forecast said. It's just after 2:30 here now, so I think my finish time at 5:30 is probably a wee bit optimistic. That's 3 hours, and I still have, well, maybe might still do it. Still have about 14 kilometres to do, but I'd say the last 14 kilometres might be a wee bit slower than the first 14. But anyway, I finished my lunch here, so just gonna tidy everything up, repack my bag and get back on the road again. Talk to you soon. Come March, the farmers really start spreading slurry again, and there's an industrial scale operation going on there. And to me, the month of March it seems like it smells of cow slurry for the entire month, everywhere you go, day in day out. Pretty beat now. I've just over 26.5 kilometres done, so no matter what else happens today, that's the longest walk I have done for 10 years, and it's the second longest walk I've done ever. So I still have to get home yet, so everything's going pretty much according to plan. A wee bit slower than I expected. It's only 7 kilometres since lunchtime, and I'm stopped again. That last 7 kilometres has been pretty difficult, really. Very monotonous walk, and it's all along just country road, and the last 3 kilometres in particular have been a real slog. It's the only way to describe it. It's been gradually uphill the whole way for the last 3 kilometres, and it's been along a really long straight road, with nothing changing, and all you can see is the end of the road so far away in the distance, and doesn't seem to be getting any closer. And then on top of that, then I had quite a strong breeze blowing pretty much into my face. Very cold edge to the breeze, but it was just another thing that was just annoying. and just made that bit of the road that much difficult. The road's changed a wee bit now. It's come into a bit of forested area. I've pretty much reached the top of that climb that I was on about. Very much in familiar territory here now. I've been up here a number of times on the mountain bike. The road drops down now for a little bit, and then it's pretty much just the last stretch home then. So I've just under 6 kilometres left to do. Should do it in around about an hour or so, maybe slightly more than an hour, because everything's tired now at this stage. I'm stopped here now just for a wee break. I'm not even hungry. I'm gonna have something bite to eat, but I'm not even hungry. It's more just everything's tired. Knees are aching, legs are aching, ankles are aching, feet are aching. So just give them a rest for 5 or 10 minutes, and then take the last section home then. So yeah, it definitely feels like a long walk, I know that's for sure, but still fit, still fighting, and gonna make it to the end. No choice really, I have to. Love the section of road. It's not often around here you get the big trees growing right up to the edge of the road like this, and especially not on both sides of the road. It's absolutely beautiful here too, out of the wind, with the sun shining straight down. It's rejuvenating me now for the last section of the walk. Stand here all day in the sunshine, it's beautiful. Stealthily creeping back over the border again into Europe, leaving County Tyrone, even Northern Ireland, entering Donegal, Republic of Ireland, and back in Europe again. It's bloody weird when you think about it. Pure nonsense. So just a few seconds ago the watch buzzed to say 32 kilometres or 20 miles. So target achieved. Whew. Wasn't as difficult as I thought, and in fact it wasn't a difficult walk, just a long walk, but I'll tell you what, everything from the knees down it's aching quite a bit now at this stage. If you've watched all the way through and you've made it this far, I'd just like to sincerely say thank you. It's been oddly motivational, thinking that people are, well, some people I know will be watching this, and even though you're watching it maybe long after I've completed it, but at least a day or two after I've completed it anyway, it's it kind of felt like there was people along with me, cheering me on and wishing me the best. So I'm glad I've taped it now, or glad I filmed it. It's definitely added a little bit of an extra element to the day. So not quite home yet either. When I plotted out the route, it was slightly over 32 kilometres, but I suppose as these things go, those routing tools are never completely accurate. Plus there's a wee bit of backwards and forwards for filming, so it's going to end up at very, very slightly over 33 kilometres. But I'll be home now in less than 10 minutes, I'd say. So I'm going to leave it here, but once again, thanks for watching, and thanks for joining me on this bit of a personal challenge today. Really enjoyed it, really glad I did it now. Thank you.